Hello everyone, my name is Malik, owner of Frosted by Malek Binns, and I am here on the Sugar Ice page to show you how to paint these cookies just in time for fall. In this video, you will learn how to make edible paint and different painting techniques such as blending, final details, and much more. Are you ready? Let's get started. First, let's talk about what you will need. You will need decorated cookies, of course. A couple of things for the cookies. First, you want to make sure that they're frosted with royal icing and completely dry. The shape that I will be using are leaves. You could use any leaves from your favorite cookie cutter shop, or you can use the files that are supplied in the description of this video. You will also need paint brushes, a paint palette, color solutions, and a leech. These are the list of colors that I will be using for today's video. Now let's talk about mixing edible paint. When making edible paint, I like to mix my colors with color solution. You want to mix equal amounts of powder to liquid. I eyeball the measurements and go by the feel. The goal is to obtain a thick and buttery consistency. It's important to mix everything until it's fully incorporated. If you don't take the time to mix it, you will get streaks of color on your cookie, and that won't look good unless you're going for a scary Halloween look. You can use any brush to mix your colors. However, mix the colors with the brushes that you will be using to paint with. Like so, I am using a detail brush for any small sections that I will be painting. This is to prepare my setup ahead of time to lower the risk of mistakes. Speaking of setup, here's the next step. It is important to have your workspace prepped and ready to go before you get started. Make sure to have all of your colors mixed with color solution and use a paper towel to place your brushes to limit a colorful mess. I also intentionally paint the paper towel to assign what color is to what brush to once again limit any mistakes in the future. Now we are ready to paint. I'm going to be showing you how to paint 5 different leaves, different designs, but similar techniques. We're going to start with an ombre style. I have 3 colors for my ombre: red rose, tiger lily, and forsythia. Start by painting the top layer with red rose. I am just painting the edges and leaving space for the other colors. After you're satisfied with that, then move on to the next color, which is tiger lily. Paint the middle section with that color and start blending the 2 colors with the paintbrush. Finally, to finish the ombre, paint the bottom section with the forsythia color, the yellow color. Use the paintbrush to blend the colors just like we did with the middle section. Don't paint the stem part of the leaf just yet because it is going to get painted with another color. If at this point you don't feel satisfied, you could blend some more with the brushes. To paint the stem, I am using a detail brush and brown the leaf. What you want to do is follow the guideline of the leaf and paint a line from the top to the bottom. If you struggle with lines, look at the image of the leaf for a reference. Towards the bottom of the leaf, make it thicker by making it wider, just the bottom area. Then we are going to paint the veins of the leaf, which is smaller lines following the shape of the leaf, and then continuing to even smaller lines to complete the veins. The last step is to build some depth, and I'm going to paint the edges of the cookie with that same detail brush with brown. And there you have it. You have your first ombre leaf. For the second cookie, we're going to do the same ombre design, but change of direction. Instead of doing what we did earlier, which was red, orange, yellow, we're going to switch it and go backwards from yellow, orange, red. It gives a different effect with flawless results. For the veins, instead of brown, I've decided to make a lighter yellow color by mixing forsythia and white master leaf. Paint the veins the same way we did with the last cookie with the brown. As you can see, it looks like another cookie, but really it's the same design, but I just got a chance to be creative, and I advise you to do the same. Switch it up, change the colors, and see how you see fit. If you need any ideas, I advise you to look online, and you can get a lot of different resources. For the third cookie, I'm going to try a different design, which is called the watercolor method. I'm going to use the same colors we used earlier, but paint in random spots. One color at a time, I use all colors, and even throughout the process, I made my own colors. Mixing red and brown created a maroon color, which gave a great effect. With this technique, allow your creativity to unwind. For me, my creative went a bit too far, and I broke the stem of the cookie. Not a problem, because in this case, all leaves are not alike. I painted the veins once again with a detailed brush and brown. For our fourth cookie, we're doing another ombre style, but this time I am using 2 colors to create a simple yet effective design. I use sunflower and tiger lily to blend out the 2 colors, and then I use the same tiger lily as my veins. The same technique, follow the lines of the leaf and create one line, add dimension, then create smaller and even smaller lines of the veins. Now at this point, I felt like it wasn't realistic enough, so I went ahead and grabbed some brown and I painted it over the tiger lily to not only build more layers, but build dimension. Keeping in mind, I am not overpowering the orange color at all. So if you're doing this method, be careful. Not that anything is wrong if you do. My plan was to achieve more orange than brown, so I kept it light and even blended the colors on the palette while doing so. Final step is to take your brush with that color and paint on the outer edges of the cookie to give it an outline and also a realistic effect. And there you have it, another beautiful design. For our final leaf, we're going to paint more of the traditional leaves, which I think gives it that pop of color to give contrast in our cookie set. For this leaf, I'm going to be using sprout, sweet butter, and brown elite. All of the leaves that we painted, the vein were painted last, but this time we're going to start with the vein. Paint a line in the middle like so, and then you want to paint the outline of individual leaves connecting to the vein that we just painted. Again, follow the shape of the cookie to guide you, or you can check your guide. Now you want to paint a line in the middle of each leaf to build symmetry and dimension. It's crazy how one step can change the look of anything. After that, you want to paint one side of the leaf sprout and the other side sweet butter. The reason why is because if looking for something realistic, I'm imagining a scene where if I'm holding this leaf outside on a sunny day, I want the sun's beautiful shine to reflect on my leaf. So, with that being said, the yellow or the sweet butter is giving the sun's highlights, and the green, which is the sprout, is going to give you the shadow and the natural color of the leaf. So I'm going to color one side yellow and one side green. I think it's best to keep the yellow side on the top and the green on the bottom, just so you're giving that reflection of the sun over the leaf. Now I'm going to blend the two colors together to make a yellow-green color on my palette and blend out that line that we created. This is to soften the line so it's not so obvious that it's a painting. I love this technique while using color solution because the color solution has a formula where it's buttery and doesn't evaporate as quick as a generic brand of vodka. Before it evaporates, it still has this tackiness where blending works best. That's why I love color solution. Now it's, veining time. I am going to be using brown to paint the main vein in the middle, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the smaller veins on the leaves, but on the even smaller ones, I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to mix my yellow-green color, make it a little bit more green this time, and then I am going to paint smaller lines or veins on each leaf just to give it that realistic effect. And now you have a beautiful traditional green leaf to match your set. Okay, this is a fall tutorial, so I could not pass up making a pumpkin cookie. This cookie was so fun to make, and let me show you how to paint this. First, you will need a fully dried cookie once again, and I used this pumpkin image to cut my dough, and we'll be using this as a reference guide. You can also get this as a download in the description below. I'm going to sketch my design by using a black edible marker. I am sketching and eyeballing with my reference. You don't have to do this, of course. A great option is to use a Pico projector. It is a common tool in cookie decorating to help trace designs. Just connect your image to a device like a smartphone and then connect it to a projector and you can trace away. Now that we have a sketch, I am going to put my colors. I am using pumpkin and tiger lily, which are two beautiful orange colors to get started. I'm going to start painting the outline of each shape of the pumpkin with the pumpkin elite. Say that 5 times fast. If you find that the edible marker is bleeding when you're painting, that is totally fine because we want to focus on blending that line out in the process. Next step is grabbing the tiger lily, which is a brighter orange, and we're going to fill the empty spots. As you paint, blend the two colors together as well, and you will see that it will start to come together. This, ladies and gentlemen, is called building dimension. To paint the stem of the pumpkin, I am using a little bit of dogwood elite as a base, and then I am going to paint the entire shape of the stem, and then after that I am going to build details with brown. You can follow that in the reference or with the Pico projector. If you're sketching it, you can sketch it with the edible marker, but this time I just decided to paint the details based off of what the reference was. I'm going to be using that same brown color to paint along where the edible marker is to build some shadowing and depth on the outer part of the pumpkin. Now I'm going to switch back to the pumpkin elite color, and I am going to add another layer on top of the tiger lily to add a little bit of highlight contrast as well as blending. At this point, I looked at my pumpkin and I wanted it to be a little brighter. So I grabbed some sunflower elite and I added that as yet another layer on top of the pumpkin to bring it some life. Now we are almost there. Woo! The last step is final details. I am going to be using Master Elite Black. Now you don't need a lot of it. It is super concentrated, so a little goes a long way here. Mix it with color solution, and I am just focusing on the stem of the pumpkin. I am going to be using a detailed brush, and all I'm doing is focusing and going over the same lines that we painted with the brown. And I also painted the bottom of the stem and the top of the pumpkin to give some shadow and depth. This is the final task to bring everything together. And that is it. We created 5 leaf cookies and 1 giant pumpkin cookie to celebrate the fall season. Thank you so much for hanging with me and watching this tutorial. If you ever get a chance to try this out, please post it on social media, tag me and the Sugar Art. We love to see it. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel as well, and comment if you like it. Any comments you have, please let us know as well. I hope you have a wonderful fall, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.